This is an exercise in using a compass. And what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to go from the start triangle to number 1. It actually would be rather easy to say, oh, it's right down the road. But this is an exercise in using the compass. I'm interested in going from the start to number 1. Using the compass, I put one of the lines from the start to number 1 on the base plate of the compass. Notice that the edge of the compass is the same. Any of the lines going to the front of the base plate will end up being okay. So I'm going to put it here from the start to number 1. And then what I do is I turn the dial. The dial ends up can turn, and it has the numbers. North is 0. And what I want to do is I'd like to get the lines which are inside that dial parallel to the edge of the map, or parallel to, still going from the start to there, parallel to one of the magnetic field lines, the magnetic north lines, which go straight to the top. Magnetic north is always at the top on orienteering maps, or always at the place where the printing is readable. So I have now placed my compass so that it is going with the base plate, lines in the base plate going from the start to number 1. I have aligned the dial so that the lines on the dial are parallel to the north lines, and then I can start the next process. What I do now is I don't need my map anymore, and I can pick up my compass, and then my mission is to get the compass arrow pointing in the right direction. So right now you can see that the compass arrow, the needle, is parallel to the lines on the dial. That means that I'm going to have to walk this way. North here, that's the direction I want to travel. And when I look down, sure enough, right down the road there's a big boulder. And if you look on the map, the first control is a big boulder. I've been walking towards the boulder, and I come around the corner. There's my control. I've now gotten to the rock, number 1, and I'm going to go number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, going around this part of the course. Be very easy just to travel right down the road, and because this is only an exercise, I'm going to use a compass bearing to go straight to number 3. So again, what I do is I end up putting the edge of the compass from 1 to 3, or one of the lines of the base plate of the compass from 1 to 3. I then end up turning the dial until the lines in the dial are parallel to the north lines on the map, or the edge of the map. So therefore we now end up having, this is the direction I want to travel. This is the way magnetic north is relative to that. And so now I'll end up picking up my compass and turning it around, and then I would walk in the direction of the compass. Now look at this. I get the needle so that it is right in the north. This is the north arrow. Notice that I turn. When I turn, it moves. So I'd like to have this going in the right direction. And so I look and I say, what is in that direction? What can I use to walk to? When I look out there, just to the left there is a balsam tree. So I'll walk to that balsam tree. So I guess I'm about at my balsam tree. And so I'll walk just to the other side of it. And then I'll use my compass again to find a new direction. Again, I get the compass needle in the pointed north on my dial. And I then end up saying, I'd like to walk in that direction. There's a pine tree not too far away, which I could use as my next point that I walk to. I go to the other side of the pine tree. Now I have to find something else. Again, I use my compass. The needle is going in the direction of north on the bezel, or the dial. This is the direction which I'm walking. So I find something out there in that direction. There's an oak tree. Again, I end up having the north arrow on the compass going where north is on the bezel or the dial. Again, the direction I'm walking is that way. And I look, and right on the other side is control. So I'm now at number 3, and sometimes it's useful to know which way you should walk on the trail. If I want to go to number 4, I would end up setting up the compass so the edge of the base plate is going to number 4, just as we've done before. I then turn the dial so that it is, oh boy, I've got to move it so I can see some of those blue lines. So that the dial is parallel there, and then I can use the compass to figure out which way I should walk on the trail. Sure enough, that's the direction I want to go. So I'm now arriving at the boulder. Here we are in the field, rough open of number 4. And what I'd now like to do is, I could just go across the rough open to the trail, but I'm going to go straight from here right back to the house, right back to the start. So how do I do this? What's the first thing I do? I put the base plate of the compass going from where I am to where I want to go. It can either be the edge of the compass, or it can be one of the lines on the base plate of the compass. What do I do next? The next thing I do is I turn the dial until the lines on the dial are parallel with the blue lines, the north lines on the map. Oh, the north line is at the top of the map, so I have to turn it around so it's pointed to the north. Now this line and the lines on the dial of the compass are pointed to the top of the map. I would then turn the compass so that the arrow is in that right underneath the north, and I'd walk in this direction. I then end up saying, well, which way do I want to go? Here is my compass needle going north on the bezel, north on the dial. The compass needle is right in there. I now look up and find something to walk towards. Looks like there's a maple tree over there, or twin maple trees that look like a V. I'll walk right over there. So I'm going to continue on the same course, making sure that I have the same direction. North arrow, going north on the dial, the bezel. I look for something out there. There is a birch tree hiding in the woods, so I'll go towards the birch tree. So, I walked a ways. Again, compass needle on the dial. What do I see out there? I can just see a little red car. So right at the end of the red car may be where I need to go. There's the red car. Looks like we did pretty well. That's the direction I'm supposed to walk. That's the corner of the house, which is where I started. We completed the course.